So hi everybody, welcome to my latest video. Hopefully this one's got some slightly better sound quality. I will go into detail in another video as to hopefully why that's happened, but I'm not going to waste your time talking about all the techie stuff now. I'll do a separate video on that because I found it quite useful. Loads of bikes out today. This is good. Okay, so welcome to the latest video. I did, my last video was on slow control and rider basics, things to do, and I thought, why not do something along the lines of mistakes that riders should avoid on motorbikes. So I'm going to do 3, I think, today, and I'll do another video, I'll do a part 2 of this, of just things to be aware of, things I've learned from my experiences, mistakes, some of them that I've made when I was a new rider. So I think absolutely things are worth bearing in mind. Again, this channel's about me sharing my knowledge and yeah, bit of that as well. About me sharing my knowledge and, you know, hopefully giving some people a little bit of information that helps them ride their motorcycle, or maybe they're getting into motorcycling. So I'm going to talk about 3 things today, mistakes that new riders or experienced riders should avoid on the bike, and they're all things about us, about the rider on the bike. I'm going to do some mechanical stuff in different videos at some point, but let's talk first and foremost about us, the rider, and what we're doing when we're on a motorcycle. So 3 things that new riders should avoid. All 3 things to bear in mind. The first one to bear in mind, the first mistake to talk about is how we are sitting on the bike and our posture on the bike. Now this is, you may think, you know, again, teaching people to suck eggs here, but it's really important that we're set up correctly on the bike to be able to operate everything effectively and to be in a comfortable position where we're not thinking about how we're sitting on the bike. We're concentrating on the road ahead of us and behind us and all around us, and we're able to fully concentrate on what we're doing. So the first thing is rider position on the bike. Now, I'm riding a reasonably upright bike. There's a bit of a rake to where my feet are, slightly behind me. You'll have sports bikes, cruisers, everybody's a little bit different. But the generic advice that I would give is don't put yourself too far forwards and don't put yourself too far back on the seat. You want to be able to comfortably reach the handlebars without outstretched arms. So your arms want to be at a little bit of an angle and quite neutral, and that allows you to counter steer like that if you need to, and it allows you to brace yourself on the bike if you're going to be giving it the beans. It's also important for comfort as well. So if you're really far forwards on it, you're going to start getting an ache in your back if the bike isn't set up for you know, proper, like a S1000RR or something, really sat forwards on it. If your bike's not set up for that, slouching over is going to cause you some problems. Think about your shoulders, think about your arm position, and think about your back position. So your shoulders want to be nice and relaxed, nice and neutral. I sometimes find myself tensing up in my shoulders a bit, and I just have to go, just drop your shoulders and just relax. Go for quite a neutral top body position. So you see riders that are very rigid on the bike and their shoulders are up, and that's going to translate to your riding. If you're rigid on the bike, your riding is going to be quite choppy and quite rigid because you're going to be giving jerky inputs to the bike. So think about your position on the bike. The second thing is actually how we're holding the handlebars on the motorcycle. Now, there is a phrase, and it's a phrase for a reason, and that is the death grip. You don't want to have the death grip on the handlebars, and that's a mistake that can end in quite serious consequences. So why don't we want the death grip on the handlebars? I'm doing 40 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour at the moment, and if I was to squeeze the handlebars hard and go, you know, really try and hold on to the motorcycle there, it's not going to cause me any problems. The problems are going to occur when I'm accelerating reasonably hard or when I'm going around corners. So what's going to happen if I'm holding the handlebars too tight and basically pulling myself along with the bike using the handlebars? you're going to give unintended inputs. Hold on. Put that up a little bit. You're going to give unintended inputs on the steering. So I'm sure you've all heard about counter steering. I will do a video on counter steering at some point. But you're going to be giving unintended inputs on the steering. So counter steering is you push right to go right, you push left to go left. But also it works in the other way. So if you pull right, you're going to go left. And if you pull on the left handlebar, you're going to go right. So let's think about this for a second. If I'm death gripping the handlebars and I'm basically pulling myself along with the bike, or trying to pull the bike back towards me, got a bit of slow control here. Beautiful. I'm basically pulling the bike back towards me and using my arms and my hands to stop myself going backwards. I could very easily pull harder on one handlebar than the other. So I'll wait till I get on this straight up here and I'll give you a demonstration of it. A safe demonstration of it. Okay, so I'm on this straight now. Let's say I was death gripping the handlebars, and if I pulled slightly harder on the left-hand handlebar, oh, I'm going to go right. And if I pulled slightly harder on the right handlebar, oh, I'm going to go left. Unintended steering consequences. So what do we want to do? We want to be relaxed. We want to hold the handlebars not too gently. You know, we want control over what we're doing. We don't want to go really, really soft. The way I would describe it, I like these analogies. I used the playing card under the foot analogy in my last video. Someone once told me that the correct way to hold at least the throttle handlebar was like it was an ice cream cone. Now that's good for your hand position and control over the throttle, but put that same kind of pressure on as well, I would say. So imagine that they are ice cream cones. You wouldn't squeeze the hell out of an ice cream cone, it's going to shatter. That same amount of gentle but consistent pressure is what you're going to want when you're gripping the handlebars. It's going to stop the death grip. I mean, worst case scenario, the death grip is going to end up in a tank slapper, which is where the handlebars go side to side really fast, and you don't want that. I just did it to myself. Well, I didn't do it to myself. I was in control of what I was doing, but the bike went woo underneath me, and it's not a nice feeling at all. So not having initiated that yourself and having that at speed is going to cause you some problems. There are loads of bikes out tonight. I'm really glad. Okay, so body positioning, neutral upper body, relaxed shoulders, arms at a slight angle, not leaning into the bike too much when you don't need to. Obviously, if you're going at a chat, then you need to come down on the bike. That's advanced stuff. Again, this is all aimed at either new riders or riders who want to learn from my experiences. So neutral upper body position, sitting in the right place on the seat, and arms at a bit of an angle, relaxed shoulders, and not too strong pressure when you're gripping the handlebars. Okay, so you're not using the handlebars to come with the motorcycle. You're not hanging on for dear life, getting dragged around by the handlebars. That's going to cause you some serious problems. You know, these roads are great today. What's the third thing? We talked about your body and your stance on the bike. We talked about hands. Now, your feet. So I see riders who have either the middle of their sole on the pegs or their heels on the pegs, and they're covering the brake and the clutch, the brake and the gears. You don't want to be doing that at all. So that's the third kind of what are we doing on the bike mistake that we need to think about. You want to have the balls of your feet on the pegs. Now, why is that? Okay, number one, you're not anywhere near the controls, the brake or the gears, if the balls of your feet are on the pegs. So you've got some safety there that you're not going to give unintended inputs to the bike. Moreover, we've talked about We've talked about not being dragged along by the bike, using your arms. So how do you keep yourself in stable momentum with the motorcycle? How do you become part of the motorcycle's momentum? Use your feet and your legs to do that. So when I go forwards, the bike is pushing me forwards using my feet. I mean, normally you can just kind of sit on a bike and it will take you with it. You know, the seats are normally a bit of a bucket, so you know, risk of saying rude words, your arse is going to do most of the taking you with the bike, but under, you know, serious speeds or reasonable acceleration, you want to transfer that power of the motorcycle through the pegs, through your feet, to the rest of your body. My arms are limp now, so I'll come round this and I'll accelerate a little bit harder again. So my arms are really relaxed, and it's my feet that's bringing with me me with the bike. Okay, you may want to angle your toes down a little bit under acceleration. Again, it just gets you closer to those controls if you need them. So I've said for the past couple of videos, it'll be a shorter video this time. My last one was nearly 30 minutes long on slow control. This one is a shorter video, so you'll be glad to know. Let's do a little recap on those. So the three kind of body mistakes that I see people making when riding motorcycles is they're rigid, their body's tensed up, they're making rigid inputs to the bike, their arms are at a straight angle. Don't want to do that. You want to relax, drop your shoulders, be in a nice neutral position on the motorcycle. The hands, you're gripping too hard, having that death grip, and then you're going to get the wobble one way or another if you're giving inputs biased to either the right or the left unintentionally. And the third thing is your feet. So I see people with their heels, the balls of their feet on the pegs, the middle of their soles on the pegs. You want to have the balls of your feet on the pegs, feet angled slightly forwards. Again, I'm talking about, you know, my bike and similar bikes here, but it all translates if you use your common sense. Okay, so these roads are great. I'm going to go around this roundabout and sign off from the video, and then I'm going to go and give it the beans, I think, down these roads. So yeah, again, as I've always said, I hope at least one person finds that useful. It may be counterintuitive not to tense yourself up on the bike, but you know, do try. The more experience you get, the easier it will be for you. If you could like and subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate that. And if you've got any questions, put them in the comments below, and I'll sign off by I'll do a bit in this video, just giving it the beans a little.